Set in the bustling city of Saigon, Vietnam, the film depicts the city's dark underbelly, where illegal activities like prostitution and gambling flourish despite repeated crackdowns. These crimes continue to thrive, especially among those involved in the nightlife scene. While some people achieve financial success, it often comes at a tremendous personal cost, far greater than they ever anticipated. Amid this chaos, we meet a nightclub owner named Fuang. She's deeply entrenched in the madness of Saigon's underworld, burdened by her past sins and closed off to redemption. Her way of life causes her to lose sight of basic values. Everything begins to change, however, when Fuang discovers she's pregnant, but she has no idea who the father is. Her assistant, Pam, suggests she consider an abortion if she wants to keep surviving in the harsh nightlife scene. One night, chaos erupts in Fuang's nightclub, disrupting the guests. Her assistant informs her that the troublemaker is Saigon, a man who's lashing out and resisting control. Security manages to handle the situation, but not before Saigon threatens revenge, promising to make Fuang's life miserable. As Fuang's pregnancy becomes more obvious and harder to hide, she makes the difficult decision to leave the nightlife, abandoning her business and contacts in the city. She's afraid that her future child will one day discover that their mother was a former criminal. So, with a heavy heart, Fuang moves to a quiet rural village to raise her child in a better environment. But life in the countryside isn't as simple as she imagined. Most of the villagers are fishermen, while others work as market vendors. To support herself and her daughter Mai, Fuang does whatever she can to make ends meet, including working as a debt collector. Often, her job requires violence to ensure debtors pay up. Her employers don't care how the money comes in.
Gốc 3 chai, lại 4 chai rưỡi. Cái gì dữ vậy chị?
Only that the full amount is paid. If there's a shortfall, Fuang's own earnings are docked. She often comes home bruised and beaten, a sight that has sadly become routine. Her work makes her an outcast in the community. On top of that, being a single mother with no husband brings more stigma. As a result, Mai becomes a target for ridicule. Her peers call her cruel names like bastard or debt collector's daughter. Mai feels ashamed and frustrated seeing her mother continue to work in such a rough and frowned upon profession.
Người gì đâu mà kỳ cục, không biết từ đâu chui ra nữa. Cho nên mình không hiểu. Tụi ơi, chữa hoang. Mà cha với chồng cái gì? Mình về đây đẻ con rồi nuôi con ăn học. Không biết thằng cha của nó nhọc, bà nói vậy á, chứ mình không ở trong hoàn cảnh của nó.
Ơi, ê, đi đâu? Mày nghĩ mày là ai? Cái đồ không cha, cái đồ con quát đồ nó ra đi. Trong này không có gì hết trơn á. Đánh.
Tụi mày làm gì vậy hả? Đi học về sao không về chơi?
Bà làm gì tôi?
Trời, cái thằng này. Có sao không?
Không.
The next day, Fuang and Mai head to the market, hoping to pawn some items for daily necessities. A commotion draws attention when Mai is suddenly surrounded by people accusing her of being a pickpocket. She insists she was only trying to return a wallet she found on the street, but no one believes her.
Mai! Chạy em mày lớn mà chạy gì đó?
Tôi chưa có nói gì thì bà...
Không, ông thể là thôi.
Gái!
Upset, Mai runs away. Fuang chases after her but loses her in the crowd. Soon after, Fuang spots Mai being dragged toward a boat by a group of strangers near the river. She tries to intervene, but she's blocked by the kidnappers' accomplices. The boat takes off with Mai aboard, and Fuang, in desperation, commandeers a motorbike from a fisherman nearby to give chase. As she races along the river, Fuang is delayed by more gang members who get in her way, costing her precious time. She eventually reaches a main road but sees the boat is now out of sight. Just then, a minibus drives past. Inside, she spots Mai unconscious and seated next to a man. A local bystander tells her the minibus is headed to Saigon. Fuang flags down a passing cargo truck and, after some resistance, forces her way on board until the driver reluctantly lets her hitch a ride.
Tới Saigon rồi.
Upon arriving in Saigon, Fuang heads straight to the nightclub she once owned. There, she meets her former assistant Pam, who's now the boss. Pam barely recognizes Fuang, who now looks like a stray off the street. Fuang begs for help finding Mai, but Pam refuses and coldly suggests she report it to the police.
Giờ chị làm
ơn về giường giùm tôi một cái. Không thôi, tôi lại bị vả lây theo.
uống đi.
Fuang goes to the police station to report her daughter's abduction, but she's quickly frustrated by how slowly the officers work. Pretending to be in pain, she asks for some painkillers. When an officer steps away to fetch them, Fuang seizes the opportunity to rummage through some files and finds documents related to child abductions and organ trafficking. Realizing their value, she takes the documents and quickly leaves. Meanwhile, the officer who went to get her medication runs into his superior, Captain Luang. He mentions that a woman had just reported her missing daughter, whose age matches those in a case they're currently investigating. Luang heads to the records room and finds that some files have gone missing. Following the stolen information, Fuang tracks down a man named Trang at an auto repair shop. Trang's mother says he hasn't lived there for a while, but Fuang insists on going inside. Trang hears the commotion and eventually emerges. Fuang immediately questions him about Mai's whereabouts. He pretends not to know anything, but Fuang shows him his profile from the stolen documents as proof of his involvement. Trang's mother begs Fuang not to hurt her son. When Fuang pushes too hard, Trang lashes out with a knife.
Cô làm cái gì vậy?
Con gái tôi bị bắt cóc.
Bà tránh ra đi. Dừng lại. Dừng lại.
Leading to a chaotic fight. His mother panics and begs them to stop.
Xin con. Đừng có nói đi con. Con mau. Con mau.
Trên xe tải có loại màu sống, khi đã xuống cái xe lửa là cô sẽ không bao giờ thấy lại được tụi nhỏ.
After Fuang leaves, Captain Luang shows up, looking for her, but she's already gone. Trang warns Luang to be careful, explaining that Fuang will do whatever it takes to get her daughter back. With the clues she's gathered, Fuang continues her search and, by chance, sees a young girl being dragged into an alley by a suspicious man. She follows him to a rundown apartment building. Residents grow suspicious of the unfamiliar woman. Fuang takes down guards on the first floor and continues upward, battling more of the traffickers on each floor. She eventually reaches the top level, where she finds a blood-stained operating table and Mai's sandal. Moments later, she overhears voices in another room. She distracts them by slamming a door shut, drawing a long-haired man outside. Fuang attacks him, while a woman named Tan Wolf watches from the sidelines. Tan Wolf is a skilled fighter and the leader of the trafficking ring.
Con tao đâu? Bắt tao đi, thả con gái tao ra.
As Fuang is overwhelmed, she hears Tan Wolf talking on the phone before losing consciousness. Fuang is then dumped in a river. In a semi-conscious state, memories of her childhood martial arts training resurface. She eventually wakes up in a hospital room. Captain Luang shows up, assuring her that Mai is safe and there are no signs of kidnapping. After he leaves, a nurse who overheard them sympathizes with Fuang. Fuang explains she can't stay in the hospital while her daughter is in danger. The nurse helps Fuang escape, pretending to be her hostage.
Chúc cô may mắn. Cảm ơn chị.
After saying goodbye to the nurse, Fuang visits her older sister's house to ask for help. But her sister berates her for abandoning the family and not attending their parents' funeral. She refuses to help and kicks Fuang out.
Đường rồi em mới tìm về đây kiếm anh cho nó với chứ.
Niệm đi. Bỏ đi làm giang hồ đám đấm. Cái thứ bỏ khiêu cho mày chết đi là vừa.
Tôi bỏ nhà ra đi, tôi không nghe lời ba má. Phải là tôi sai đó. Xin con Mai ra. Đừng đắng nhất mà con Hai Phượng này đó.
As Fuang walks away, she spots Captain Luang waiting outside. He's been tracking her. Initially hesitant to involve Fuang, he's now impressed by her fighting skills and asks her to help take down the trafficking ring. They head to a train station, searching passing trains.
Chỉ có cô mới biết, chuyến tàu đó là chuyến tàu. Cô còn gì nữa không? Bởi vì tôi biết, tàu vừa rời ra Sài Gòn khoảng 10 phút trước.
One of them contains a container car believed to be carrying kidnapped victims. When they locate it, Fuang boards the train and is ambushed by more of Tan's henchmen.
Quay, em chờ anh coi cái chuyện gì.
Ở đây.
Overwhelmed, she's beaten severely. Among her attackers is Saigon, the man who kidnapped Mai to get revenge on Fuang. Luang tells Fuang to head to the next car while he handles the rest. In that car, Tan senses something is wrong. Her calls to her crew go unanswered. Her suspicion is confirmed when Fuang appears and they fight once more.
Cũng lì quá ha.
Hàng đã tới. Chuẩn bị giao hàng.
Con gái mày hả?
Học rõ là phải chịu đau. Dập.
Despite her injuries, Fuang refuses to back down. The brutal final showdown ends with Fuang delivering a powerful kick that kills Tan. With Tan dead, the train is rerouted. Captain Luang calls in backup to intercept it. Tan's remaining men are confused by the lack of orders. Then, Fuang bursts out of the container, launching an all-out assault. Mid-fight, she gets shot, but just in time, Luang and the police arrive, rescue Mai and the other children, and secure the scene. Mai rushes to her injured mother's side. Later, news reports cover the rescue of the kidnapped children. Fuang is hailed as a hero for her courageous actions, which saved dozens of victims who were about to be trafficked to Cambodia. Mai, who once felt ashamed of her mother, finally realizes just how much Fuang was willing to sacrifice for her. The moral of Fury, 2019, is that a mother's love knows no limits. Despite her dark and troubled past, Fuang proves that anyone can change for the sake of someone they love, even if it means risking their own life. The film reminds us that sometimes, we must confront our fears and past mistakes to protect those we care about. It also highlights the power of courage, determination, and resilience in fighting evil, even under the harshest circumstances. There's no sacrifice too great when it comes to the safety and happiness of someone you love. In a world filled with darkness and violence, love and bravery still shine through. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy, hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice just to be sure. You should watch the full movie. Thank you very much for watching.